if we would try to comprehend what had this period given to us, what did happen on the edge of these centuries, and what did these people who practiced yoga contribute, we would say the following. First of all, there appeared an option to study both in India and in Western yoga schools. In Soviet times, it was a great success to get a single piece of information, while in 90s it became possible to go to India, to Mysore or Rishikesh, to Pune, to Iyengar, and to see what they do. And both those who could go to India and those who couldn't allow this went to India. At last we've got out of this informational isolation. All those psychological works and esoteric texts of traditions became available not only for special keepings. Lots of truly valuable sources were unveiled at that time. Of course, later on there also got lots of rubbish. Furthermore, this period is marked with a huge improvement in Hatha Yoga. In fact, in late Soviet period, the very fact that you practice yoga made you happy, even if you do everything incorrectly. And in 90s, it was not intelligentsia who came to yoga, but the sportsmen, the athletes, and surely they brought ideas of deep working with physical body. If we would compare yoga of 70s, 80s and 90s, these are completely different yogas. You cannot even imagine how sloppy were the exercises and how much had they changed. Then there was legitimation, demarginalization. Anyhow, before this period, yoga was underground. The famous TV presenter Drozdov of the Animal World TV show mentions in his memoirs that in nighttime, secretly, he went to some gym and some student of medical institute who spent his early years in India with his parents had taught them some yoga, and that was a huge relief. So at last yoga got out of these basements, got comfortable facilities, and it became legal and official to promote yourself and so on. But the downside of this was the massification of yoga, when some former athletes who had mastered a couple of exercises noticed that his body is fit and stretched enough to do this, and branded himself as a yoga teacher. And of course there appeared professionalizing effect in yoga. Up to some period, it was impossible to think of yoga as a profession, but only as a reason for imprisonment. Up to some period, it was quite complex to communicate with other yogis, but since 90s and 2000s, it became possible. And this became a room for professionalization, and at that time, in Russian-speaking context, there first emerged yoga therapy research, where we have to thank Rinat Minvaliev firstly. Here on this picture we see him experimenting with different states of cold, and he was the one who translated the physiological aspects of yoga, the classical work of Dietrich Ebert, and Sergei Agapkin, who tried to synthesize some simple but modern medical knowledge and some phenotypization of bodies, like Kretschmer types of body of asthenic, athletic and picnic type, with Ayurvedic types Vata, Pitta and Kapha doshas. He explored influences of Hatha Yoga on sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, and conducted some first research on increasing and decreasing of blood pressure in asanas. These two men founded the basis of scientific yoga therapy in Russian-speaking context. Minvaliev continues his research as for now, and Agapkin went to movie and TV show business. He also makes some seminars, but not that often.